Hello everybody, today is Saturday, July 20th. I'm going to go over some of, actually all the names that I mentioned last Saturday, and we'll see if they played out the way I was, I guess, thinking they were going to play out, if some of the setups failed or actually went into the direction that I was thinking. Anyways, before I start with a firm, I would like to always mention this is not financial advice. Do your own research and due diligence before you invest. Take this as educational content or entertainment content, whatever you wanna call it. But it's not financial advice. Do your own research. Anyways, if you see any utility on this, please like and subscribe to the channel. And other than that, let's start. So AFRM, I think on Saturday of last week, so let's go to last Friday, which was the 12th. We were right in this area. What I was saying was that we had to break this channel right here and go towards support, and probably what we will see is a retest. What actually happened, as you can see on this candle, you broke that channel and then went towards resistance. I think I just said support, but resistance, I'm sorry. And it tried to break and it couldn't. And by Wednesday, you lose the entire side of momentum on this trade. It didn't really play out, I guess, the way I wanted, meaning go over resistance, turn this into support, go to the next resistance level. That didn't really work out. What we might be seeing now is maybe a retest here and go back to this resistance level. But I think the whole idea that we are in a rotation towards, small caps or smaller caps stocks might not be that accurate. There were a lot of people on X actually saying that. I generally like to be more neutral in my opinions because that is what the market is. A market is a situation in which you have probabilities that could be 50-50 in some areas, and some other probabilities could have more of a setup that might go into your favor. So I think that what I'm seeing right now on AMD, I would wait to see if this is a retest or if we're actually starting going down towards the support level at 27. So that is what I have for AFRM. The next name is AI. And what I like, or what I think what I was saying here on AI is just to be to keep an eye on this resistance level at 31. So we went up, and another thing that I was saying, we were here on Wednesday, but I've been talking about AI for a while, so probably even a week before. What I was looking at this was like this pattern right here. Let's get rid of this line right here. And I like this candle right here, but then you see this kind of, I guess, weakness. And what I mentioned in past videos was I don't like to see these kind of formations here. The reason for that is because there is no momentum. You're not really seeing anything that is telling you, okay, this is actually going to explode, or you're going to have a move similar to what you're seeing here. Not really. The MACD and the TSI actually got flat. That was a bad indication. So what I said last week on Saturday, I believe, was to keep an eye on this level right here, which was and still pretty persistent. And now you actually went under during the week. You went under this trend line. There might actually be a continuation if you actually keep an eye or see what is going on the MACD and the TSI. Your resistance level is the 35 SMA and the 200 SMA, so they are both at the same time. If you break these two, I think you're definitely going to have a continuation. I actually think, let me get my post-its, if you go under these two indicators, there is definitely a good opportunity to a continuation to the downside. So that is what I have on AI. Keep an eye on these indicators right here, 35 SMA, 200 EMA, and if this continues going down, then you're going to see something probably very similar to what you're seeing here. You know, in this area, you went under the 35 and 200 EMA. Here on the way up, you went over the 35 SMA and over the 200 EMA. And then you had a nice reaction. So you might have a couple of days to the downside. You know, I'm taking these notes, but I'm not going to be around from Tuesday until Friday. So I might not take any positions, but I really see this looks pretty good. I like when this kind of stuff happens as well. Those are good setups. That's what I have for AI. And next, I'm going to go to ANF. So this is playing out. What I mentioned last week, we were around here. So we were on, let's go to Friday. We were on Saturday. And again, I'm going over the same names that I mentioned Saturday. So the same 15 tickets that I had on Saturday are the same 15 or actually 16 tickets that I'm going to mention today. So you went up to resistance at 194, 1, 2, 3 times, and then you went down. I think there is still a continuation here. You might actually see, or we might see a little retest. Who knows? Right now you're bouncing on the 35 SMA, so there is a possibility that you might retest this level. And then if that happens, and that's what I was drawing here, if that happens, let's say you're here, then you have a perfect setup. That would be fantastic as well. So keep an eye on this. I actually like both situations. You have to really pay attention to what is happening on the 35 SMA. The MACD and the TSI are looking still bearish. They are just about to go under the 0 line, so you still have time to continue going down. This was a pretty nice move. Even from here, it actually didn't get to retest this level. It totally lost momentum here sometime in the beginning of July, and then it just continued going down. So I think this pretty nice run that we had in ANF is coming to an end. You probably have some sort of support at 139, 140, give or take. But until then, I think you still have more time. You still have about $10 to continue going down. I like ANF to the downside. And let's move on to the next name. Where are we? BABA. BABA did actually fail on the retest. I think what I mentioned last Saturday, we were here on the top. I don't like this kind of weakness. Another thing that I was saying on Saturday is how crazy BABA trades. You have all these gaps right here. Like, so it's sometimes could be a little bit difficult to predict, especially for the way I like to trade. But everything is telling me that you're going to continue going towards 73. So you're already under the 200 EMA, 35 SMA. Now you're under both of them. And it looks like you're going to continue that. MACD and the TSI are curling towards the signal lines. It looks like they're obviously going to go under the 0 line as well. So the histogram is also telling me that momentum is going down. Volume is all right. So you have a little bit of liquidity here. So there might be a little bit of a challenge for a continuation towards support. But I still think that having a bearish sentiment for the next week or so is what is probably going to come for BABA right now. So I still look BABA to the downside. I don't know what is going to happen once you hit this level. We have to wait and we have to see what happens there. But considering everything that we're seeing here, looks like this is going to continue going towards support. And then, well, if it breaks, then we can analyze that in a different manner. But your next price target, I don't want to say price target. Your next area is 73.20, give or take, somewhere around there. Now I'm gonna move to Best Buy. So Best Buy was in my radar for a while. I was talking about Best Buy here. My thesis was if it breaks here, it might go a little bit higher, but I was still thinking this is gonna go down. The thing here is that when you start seeing this weakness to the downside, the same when you see weakness to the upside, you just have to wait. So that's what I did. It went up, and I think I did get some puts. I played them overnight, but I didn't take this whole move. Then you got to the 35 SMA, the beginning of July, and it bounced, went over resistance, kept going. On Saturday, when I mentioned this, we were right on this candle. You actually bounced here, which, you know, you kind of had a retest, and now it's starting to move up. So Thursday wasn't too good, but the whole market was, I guess, having a hiccup on Thursday. And then on Friday, you had a pretty much a flat day. We'll see you have low liquidity here. You have low liquidity under support, but you also have these shelves right here that might give a little bit of a challenge on this. Best Buy is not a good stock to trade, in my opinion, to day trade, because it moves a little bit ugly. I don't like this when I see these candles. The way I like to trade, when I see this kind of stuff, I just, you know, if let's say you want to get out of a position in one of these candles, you're not going to be able to get out, especially with options. So, but for day trade, if you're going to swing or whatnot, yeah, if for swing trade, it is actually a decent stock, I think, to trade. MACD and TSI are over the 0 line. They don't look like they're moving with momentum, so I'm a little bit neutral on this name right now. And let me make a note on that. I might make another video. I'm going on vacation next week, so I'm getting ready. So time is a little bit tight right now. But anyways, I'll try to do something for sure by Monday. Monday is my last day here, and then I'm gonna be out of time. Anyways, that's what I have for I'm sorry, Best Buy. And yeah, again, this is playing to the upside, you know, so far, but I'm kind of neutral considering that the MACD and the TSI volume, I don't see much momentum. I'm not sure I'm gonna continue, I guess, focusing or talking about Best Buy for a while, since I'm not seeing much of a lot of interest or a lot of momentum in the moves. So that's what I have for Best Buy. Next, I have, what is next? Caterpillar. So Cat actually, on Friday, was it Friday? Yeah. So on Saturday, I was talking about Caterpillar right on this candle. What I was saying is, like, you're going over the 35 SMA, and then it really moved up Monday, Tuesday, and then you had actually until Thursday, sometime during the day. Let's go to the 5-minute chart, in which you really went up very nicely, and then shortly after, you just started going down and down and down and down. Anyways, this was a very nice setup. You came out of this channel right here, or range, and then over the 35 SMA, and then just continue going up. This was a great move. You know, I mentioned last week that somebody on X Spaces was saying, you know, I'm going short on this, blah, blah. He had a good thesis behind it, but I thought it was a little bit, you know, if I'm seeing the MACD and the TSI getting this weak, I wouldn't go short, you know. If I have doubts, I would just leave it alone. So anyways, it got back into this range, and then it just went up. So if you got something on Monday, because I mentioned this on Saturday, and you took these 2-3 days, boy, you really made pretty good money on that. Then on Saturday, well, Thursday, already told you everything about it. Thursday told you that Saturday or Friday was going to be pretty bad. Then you have a pretty decent liquidity area right here. So, but still, it just went down by 3%. Let's go to the 1-minute chart. I just want to see something. Yeah. So from the get-go, completely went down and down and down. I mean, and then it started bouncing on this level right here. That's pretty interesting considering that this is a 1 minute chart and how solid this support actually turned out to be. 346. Let's go to this and look for 346. Which you can go back to this and yeah, you can go back to this area. Well, that was interesting how stubborn that area was, and you can see it on the 5 minute chart even better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like how many candles is hitting that level? That is pretty interesting. So this is actually a level to keep an eye on. Let's go back to 46, which is right on here. Let's add that and keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on this 346 level. Seems like it's going to be a stubborn one. Either if it breaks, it's probably going to continue with momentum. And the MACD and the TSI, if this breaks, these things are going to curl towards the signal line. And then you're really going to see a nice downtrend, at least to the next support level. But if it bounces, then you might see a continuation here. There's definitely nothing is said here so far. When I try to get a position is when I see this curling towards the signal line with a little bit of, I guess, in a dramatic fashion towards the signal line, and I don't see it yet. You know, there's divergence, yes, but is this going to continue? I don't know yet. So let's keep an eye on this resistance level. So I'm gonna be neutral on Caterpillar. So I take notes as I go as well. Anyways, next is Celsius. Celsius continues to go down. What I was talking about last week was, well, you have this bounce and bounce double bottom. We can maybe speculate, but then what I said is do not touch this name if it doesn't go over this resistance level at 61. It is pretty obvious. It's an old resistance level that goes back to actually 1 year ago, and now you're here. Couldn't break it. You know, when it went up, it actually did it with a lot of momentum, but when it went down, it did the same thing. It just kept going. Now you couldn't break this resistance level. Now you're almost at 40. You're under 50. You're at 48, and that's what I was saying. If you break this, you might see a continuation, and then you just have to keep an eye on the 200 EMA and the, you know, this would be your resistance level, these indicators right here. But it didn't happen. I think there were bad news. I believe there was on Monday from the Wall Street Journal. I don't remember what the news were, but I remember that there was an article or something that came out of the Wall Street Journal and just continued going down. It got on this support level on Monday, got a rejection just like this, 2 candles right here, but then Tuesday and Wednesday and the continuation towards Friday. Now you're here at this level. We'll see what happens next week. I just want to see this at this point to continue going down, so you have a nice better setup to the upside. But again, it seems like this name has been beat up really badly in the last 2 months since May. I mentioned this before. I took some puts here. I sold them here. They were already 700%. Imagine if I didn't sell until today. And they were July puts when I bought them. So, well, I still got my money. But anyways, that happens. It happens to me all the time. I like to sell soon. And that actually, I leave money on the table, but it also saves me a lot of money because sometimes you see a complete reversal and you're lost. But anyways, so I like to secure money. Celsius, you know, at this point, what the only thing I'm thinking is about this resistance level at 48, and under that, then I don't know. You're probably up here at 44, and I'm not gonna put a level yet, but you're probably at 44 or 45. So we'll see. That's what I have for Celsius. Now I want to go to CLSK, and this is interesting. You know, there might be actually some sort of a move to the upside on Monday, at the beginning of next week. And the reason is because Bitcoin is now moving up very nicely. You are at resistance right here, which is a pretty stubborn level of resistance. We'll see if it breaks. I think if it breaks, Bitcoin might continue going up. Are we gonna hit new highs? I have no idea. This is not a Bitcoin video, but I think now you have to keep an eye on this resistance level at 1830 and then mounting it and continue. MACD and TSI are just, I mean, they are not telling me much because how choppy they look. So I wouldn't use these indicators right now, but you are over 35 SMA and you have this level right here. That's all I have for CLSK. Just to keep an eye on volume, keep an eye on this support level, that 35 SMA, and your resistance level at 1830. That's all you got for now. And also keep an eye on the behavior that you might get between now and Monday morning on Bitcoin. That is going to dictate the next move on this name. So that's that for CLSK. Now let's do Chipotle. With Chipotle, I think we're going to continue going down. And I did make a post on X about Chipotle today. I think we're going to continue going down. We're under the 200 SMA. Your next level is the support at 51. You break 51, you're definitely going to, you enter into this liquidity gap that might take you to 47.50 or so. Anyways, I think that what I was talking about, let's go back to Saturday of last week. So it's Friday. Saturday, I was talking about this. Keep an eye on this level right here. It did break the level at 57. Now you're at 51. If you took any of these puts, you did pretty well this week, I would say. Not an entry position for me. I would wait. In my case, I would wait the way I like to trade. I'll wait probably like a week or so and see how this behaves in this lower area, and then take a long position of some calls that would have a long expiration date, probably 2 months out or 3 months out. But I would have those calls, I would execute them within in less than a week. So if I buy them, let's say on Monday or a Friday afternoon, by the end of the trading day, by next Friday, or if I buy them on Monday, by the end of the week, I will be selling anyways. So because I think this is long term, I think this is going to continue going down. I'm being 100% honest. So, or another thing that I could do is see if this bounces here, goes up again, and actually get on the next leg down. I don't have much expectations for Chipotle as a business. I don't believe that the brand is the same. I don't believe that they have good, customer loyalty anymore, because a product has decreased in quality tremendously. I used to love going to Chipotle, but I used to love going to Chipotle 10 years ago or so. I don't remember when was the last time, but I know that every time I pass by a Chipotle, it looks completely different. It looks dirty. I know what I heard from other people. The food is not the same. 10 years ago, Chipotle was, I used to eat Chipotle at least once or twice a week. I used to love it, but it's not the same. If I want some Mexican food for the amount of money that I'm going to pay in Chipotle, I go to a real Mexican restaurant and I get a super burrito or something. Kick-ass burrito instead of fucking Chipotle. So that's what I think about Chipotle. I think long term, you're gonna get wrecked. If anything, you have earnings coming. That's another thing. I just noticed that next week. So I would be very cautious. I would, I'm not trading next week, but I would bet that Chipotle is not gonna do too well. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't like to trade earnings. So it's up to you. I'm not very informed about how they are doing financially or not. I know what people talk about Chipotle, and I know the sentiment that people have with Chipotle lately. And it's not the same. It's not the best buzz that you would actually would like to hear from people. Anyways, that's what I have for Chipotle. You have an opportunity here, but you have earnings coming. I would not touch it because earnings are coming here. You know, so if you're going short and you have good earnings, you're gonna get wrecked. If you're going short and earnings are bad or guidance is bad, then you're gonna get lucky. And don't trade like that. So, in my opinion, I'm leaving it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone until next week or so. Again, I want to see what happens here. This has to tell you a better story, and it's not telling me much other than a continuation to the downside. But again, earnings are coming. That could change the setup. That's what I have for Chipotle. Next, I have, let's go down. Robinhood. So what happened here? So we were on Friday here. I like this continuation, but it lost momentum by Tuesday. Broke resistance right here. It was a 7% day, so this was fantastic on Monday. So if you took this position here, that was probably more than enough. But then if you are a degenerate and you took it towards Tuesday or maybe Friday, Wednesday, then good for you. Between these 2 days, you had 10% earnings or gains. So that is pretty good. But anyways, by Thursday, and a lot of tickets and stocks had a pretty nasty day on Thursday. You were down 5.5%, and then the next day we were at 2.5%. It actually kind of got rejected on this resistance level, so we'll see what happens here. I'm kind of neutral. You have earnings coming. I wouldn't be surprised and Robinhood comes up with something pretty decent considering the new products that they're offering. So I'm not that bearish on earnings on Robinhood. Yet you have 2 more weeks or so, yes, or almost 3 weeks until earnings. So there is still time to get a play here between these two levels right here. The support at 21.21 and this resistance at 23 and some change. What is it? 23.40. So the MACD and the TSI, to be honest, they are not telling me much. They look choppy already. So the only thing that I would do, pay attention to on the daily chart is a volume and then this level right here. If it keeps rejecting, then your expectation should be this, coming down to 21. And then if it doesn't, then it would probably continue to the upside towards earnings. It would be optimal if it goes down and then you get good earnings and you actually take that move. So that's what I have for Robinhood. Unfortunately, not too much. And then what is next? Sorry, I got to take a look. Oh, let's do Mara. So look at this. So we were talking about Mara here, right on this candle. Saturday. So this is the next day, Saturday, Friday. I spoke about Mara. Next day, then you had this outstanding move. 15. No, it was what? 15%, I think. No, 18% this day. Then you had 8%. That is 24. 26% in 2 days. Then you had this candle. You were still going higher on Wednesday. Thursday wasn't too good. I think if Bitcoin continue going towards 68 or hit 68 by Monday, then you're going to have another rally. Again, what I said and what I always say about Mara, you'll see these moves, you know, that look pretty crazy, big candles, a lot of volume, a lot of shit going on. I like that about Mara. You might sorry, my dog is in the background. She's making her bed. You might have a retest on support, which I doubt. I think if Bitcoin continues to go up, you are going to see this move, a very nice move towards this low level of liquidity here. So keep a close eye on Mara. I wouldn't worry too much about the MACD and the TSI. Mara is just moving with Bitcoin. You can see that on these 3 days right here. And if we go back to Bitcoin and we take a look, they were right on this area. So it was the same move. You had Sunday, or you had Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Mara, you had pretty much not the same move, but you had volume on Mara at the same time. The same thing with CLSK. You're gonna see that kind of momentum. Bitcoin, Riot, all of those names that if you're, or CONL, all of those names that have any kind of relationship with Bitcoin and they're susceptible to Bitcoin moves, I do believe that are worth paying attention or maybe risking some money to the upside, especially if Bitcoin is moving to the upside. Now, if Bitcoin takes a dump between now and Monday, there might be an opportunity to actually go to the downside. I like to trade Mara to the upside all the time. When it's going down, I have no interest on it, but every single time that you see these moves, oh boy, they are beautiful. But if you also like, if you don't mind going short or going or buying puts, these are also very, very spectacular moves to the downside. So that's what I have for Mara. Keep an eye on Bitcoin. Keep an eye on the rest of the related stocks that run with Bitcoin, and you might actually have an opportunity to make very decent money with Mara. So when I'm putting Mara to the upside, now we're gonna see something, and we might learn a lesson here. So wait, I want to take a note really quick. So MRVL, Marvel. I have a problem pronouncing that word. Anyways, what we were talking about, I think we were Tuesday. So we were right here on last Saturday. And what I was saying was like, well, you have this this pattern right here, and then you're flagging it again. So you mount and you're kind of flagging, and if we go over, this is gonna look nice. So Monday came, Tuesday came, it's looking nice, and then you had Wednesday, a complete disaster, and well, the rest of the week, right? And now you are at 200 EMA. I think this is one of those things that you really have to be sure of when you want to enter and really pay attention to the next move. In this kind of situation, sometimes you really don't have control because it technically looks pretty good. You have low liquidity. You have, you know, you're breaking levels here or these trend lines and whatnot. And you wake up the next day and you see this, right? So one of the things that I like to pay attention in these kind of moves is reactions that are gonna give me a better idea of what is going to happen. If you see this on the MACD and the TSI, this was a better indication that out of this consolidation, you might have a move, right? And you had like 3 or 4 days to the upside. You know, you also have to see how choppy the stock might get. And, you know, unfortunately, this didn't play out. I didn't have positions here. And the reason why is because I like to see more momentum. This kind of indecision, you know, sometimes you can be like, well, we are flagging right here. Let's get rid of this. Or let's make it shorter. And you can be like, well, that's a nice flag right there. I'm not sure if it's that nice. But, you know, it faked you out and then it goes down to the 200 EMA. And I do believe that this is going to continue going down. Considering what the histogram is looking like and considering what the MACD and the TSI are telling you. You don't have earnings until the end of August, so you still have time to go to the downside. This is a name that I think for now I'm not going to, I guess, do technical analysis. And the reason is because how it's behaving and how choppy it gets. I don't think I should be analyzing stocks or mentioning stocks that have this level of risk and have this level of, I guess, uncertainty. You know, I don't think it's worth taking positions that look like this, you know? And that reminds me a little bit of BABA as well. BABA is a difficult stock to trade. I'd rather trade stocks that really give you kind of like an idea of how things are. Just like this, like you have a better understanding, like it's in a channel, goes down, then goes up, gets back a little bit on the channel, goes up again. So it gives a good indication of ups and downs rather than when you are on this. This is a little bit of a nightmare to trade. You were here, it was looking good so far, and then completely went down. Now, I don't know if there were news. I don't know what happened. Maybe there were news or whatever. But definitely you had a 10% drop. That messes up your entire position. If you're either, you know, and if you bought options, then that's it for your options. You know, you better get rid of them. Anyways, that's what I have for Marvel. This setup didn't work out, and that's another reason why I think you have to be very cautious on what you hear or see on the internet. A lot of people were talking about this name to the upside, and they were raving about it, and that's fine. But I think you, as a trader that like to get additional information in the internet, like we all do, you have to do your own assessment, and you have to think, okay, is this something that is going to work out for me? Is this the kind of risk that I want to take? Is this a kind of stock that I want to work with? If so, how well? What is the strategy, right? Am I buying calls that are expiring in 3 months from now? Am I buying weeklies? What am I doing? Am I buying stocks and keep these for a couple of weeks? Well, it's your choice, but again, I think we can mention all kinds of setups and whatnot, and a lot of the times they fail, and this is a great example of what you all have to keep in consideration when somebody tells you do your own research. You better do your own research. You know, this is again, you can take this as some sort of guidance, and then pull out your notepad and start looking at the chart, and then make your own decision. That's what I would do. That's how I learned. So yeah, this is a perfect setup that didn't work out, that completely failed, and now, you know, now you're at this level right here, which a lot of uncertainty. So and you actually, let's put this here, even though I'm saying I don't want to analyze this. So yeah, you're here. That's what I have for Marvel. I guess a moral of the story on this name, you know, do your own research, make your own trading decisions. Microsoft. So Microsoft, we were, what was it? Friday. I was talking about Microsoft here. And what I was saying is, look at this, the MACD and the TSI. I was saying this is going to continue going down. You're going to go to 430 or so. We are actually there. We encountered the 35 SMA, and we are bouncing on it. Again, one of the things that I've seen on X a lot and on YouTube is people saying, we got the bottom, now we're bouncing, I'm buying stocks like crazy. Okay, great. Maybe you're bouncing on the SMA 35. Not a lot of people uses this indicator, so okay. But let's say you're bouncing on this, and now you can also argue, well, I'm bouncing on this level. Let's actually be more precise here. And I'm bouncing on 431, 430. I'm bouncing here. No, you're not. What I think is, I would give these names a couple of more days. I want to see the MACD and the TSI actually behaving a little bit more bullish. They are not behaving bullish right now. They continue going down. They're pointing down towards the zero line. The histogram is telling you that this still has momentum to the downside. The TSI, the strength of the move, is telling you that we're continue going down. The RSI also is telling you the same. So you can hear or watch or read whatever you want to read on the internet, but the reality is that the chart is telling you a story, and you have to pay attention to it. Don't be emotional, and don't be impulsive. You know, like if I see this, let's say I don't have these indicators here, and if I see this right now, let's see, if I see, let's do this really quick. If I only see this, I'll be like, well, it makes sense to get in. Yeah, for sure. And a lot of people only give you this chart, the chart like this, right? Only this window. And it looks like, oh, this actually looks great. But then when you start looking at other tools, you can call them indicators, right? And you're like, oh man, this is not telling me the whole story. The chart is not telling you the whole story, you know? So this is something that The moving averages are telling you something. The strength of the stock is telling you something. And, you know, the RSI is telling you something else. So just be cautious. This might bounce. It could totally bounce. I'm not saying it won't, but I think it's more prudent just to step back a little bit and sit on your hands for at least a day and see, like, okay, well, this is bouncing and it looks like it's taking momentum to the upside. It might be an opportunity here for a next for a reversal and a next run towards all-time highs. Maybe that's it. But for now, I'm gonna wait. You know, I don't wanna get on Microsoft. I was trading Microsoft down here, and I was calling Microsoft down here. My call for Microsoft, Meta, and Netflix was right on these days. They were, I think, Meta and Microsoft the same day. Let's check on this really quick. Meta, it was the same at the same time, and Netflix, it was also at the same time right here. And look at these runs, you know. So and it was because it was pretty obvious on these indicators. Well, I see something pretty obvious right here as well. I think this might continue. We'll see. Be patient. Just wait. It doesn't cost you any money. Like, being impulsive might cost you some serious money. So just I would just wait. That's what I have for Microsoft. Let's move on to the next name, which is Oracle. Oracle is playing very nicely. We were here last week, I think, yeah. And what I was saying is wait for this move. Now, if you're a little bit crazy and you want to anticipate it, then you're already on you're printing already, right? But what I said on Saturday, looking at this candle on Friday, right, was like, you gotta make sure that you don't break this resistance level at 145 and then go under this support level at 137. We are right there. So, excuse me. So what happened on Friday? Let's go to the 1 minute. It actually had a nice run to the upside. I actually bought a couple of puts somewhere in this area right here, somewhere in this flat area right here. We went down. Was it? Yeah, we went down, up, down by the end of the day. Last candle was pretty gnarly. Went all the way up, but still, you close the day pretty much flat, which is fine. My my puts are for September. I think I got a couple of puts. It wasn't anything major, but I also bought. I went short, so I got stocks. Well, I went short on it, and I think I'm gonna give it more time. But if I see, you know, getting the stock getting on range, meaning that it's not coming out of this and now it's just gonna be bouncing here, I will get out. But that would also give me even more indications that whatever move comes next, where if you are breaking resistance or support, it's gonna be even more violent. You do not have nothing going on until the beginning of September, which is, you know, month and a half from now. And then the MACD and the TSI, the histogram volume is okay, are telling you that, well, you know, this is probably going to continue to the downside. To be honest, maybe I shouldn't have bought any puts. I'm okay with my short position, but puts, as far as buying them on Friday, maybe it was a little bit rushed. You want to see breaking this level, and then you have a confirmation. You have this price gap in this area, and you also have low liquidity right here. That is important. There's a little bit of a magnet between this area right here, but you have to break support right here. We'll see what happens next week. I might end up selling if I see by the beginning of next week that we're actually going to enter range right here. I don't have any interest on playing that, even though my puts are for September. They will still decay rapidly if this actually start moving towards resistance up here. That's what I have for Oracle. Just keep an eye on the levels, and then the liquidity gaps and the indicators that you have in the lower side of the screen. Let's move on to, I mentioned PayPal. PayPal was looking pretty decent last week, but not so much anymore. You know, I haven't looked at this chart other than today for the video, but we had this head and shoulders. We did put this on Saturday, and it looked pretty good. Beginning of the week was pretty nice. Monday you had a nice day with 2.2% to the upside. The next day was green, but it was already telling you that momentum was leaving. Then the histogram here, you can see the change. You're going down, and you keep going down. One of the problems that I have with this name is a lack of consistency. You know, again, it's one of those things that you want to see a move, you know, and you haven't seen it in a while. You haven't seen it since this area right here, I would say, you know, that was the beginning of the year. And then you had all this nonsense. And again, I don't trade based on news or that sort of stuff, even though I pay attention to news in case there is a catalyst, and so I know not to get into a position, or I know to get into a position. But in reality, I like to see what is on the chart. My trades don't last very long. I take swing trades, and sometimes I do day trading, but my swing trades, I have them for no more than 10 days, and then I'm out. So in any case, I think the MACD and the TSI are pointing down. So this setup worked out for 2 days. So if you actually cut this on Monday, fantastic. But your exit should have been like as fast as possible, because the next day you're losing momentum, and that's telling you everything right there. Now you're out. So this retest situation is gone. We don't need to think about that. Now you're going down, and probably towards 58. I think that's your level right now. You're thinking about 58, and if it bounces, that's great. But again, this is turning into a difficult thing to swing, into a difficult thing to trade. Not for me. It shouldn't, you know, if you like the way I like to set up my trades, then I don't recommend this kind of setup. You know, I would leave it alone, and it's not a stock that I trade very often. I did not take this move, but it was looking very enticing, but there was no continuation. And again, one of the things that I like to do is give the stock some time so I can actually see what the story is. One of the, I guess, how do you say it? One of the caution areas for me was the 35 SMA being right here, and it actually couldn't break it, and it got rejected right on this area, and it went down. I wouldn't be surprised if I said that on last Saturday, that to keep an eye on the 35 SMA. I'm pretty sure I did, considering that that's what I do when I trade. Like, I want to see the whole thing being broken, you know, and then you have, just like what I mentioned in one of the stocks, if you break both of these indicators with momentum, then you're running, just like you did here to the downside. You broke both of them the same day, and then complete disaster, right? And so yeah, that's what I have for PayPal. I think if you want to swing, leave it alone. I wouldn't play with this. There's not really you know, indication of momentum or direction or anything. This is dog water, in my opinion. And now the last name, which I'm not sure why I mentioned ROKU last time, but here we are. I said I was going to mention all the names that I did last Saturday, so we're here again. So we were here when I was talking about ROKU, and look at this. It did play pretty nicely. What I was talking about was, you know, you're bouncing on the SMA, on the 35 SMA. This looks good. You have you're right on this resistance, kind of resistance, support at the same time level, and you broke, let's call it right now, support. You bounce out of support, and then you went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, very nice days. But then by the end of the week, you got killed. Anyways, I think if you took this, again, some of my trades, if I see this kind of weakness on a candle, I'm out. But I already took money from these 2 days, right? So, and you are also starting to see weakness on the MACD and the TSI. The TSI is already losing strength, which is going to tell you that at least you're going back to the 35 SMA, and this level again. So you're going to encounter this level again, and that's going to probably dictate what is a move. Back in the day, I shouldn't say back in the day, but about a year ago or so, I used to trade ROKU. It was fun, I guess, especially for day trading. So I would get in and out of ROKU quite often, but it's been in this type of range for a while, and I think it might stay there. You have earnings coming in a couple of weeks by the beginning of August. We'll see what happens there. If something violent happens, last earnings, nothing really happened. They went in, you had a little drop, and then you continue going in this range. I wouldn't be surprised that if you go down, you're still gonna go down to 53, and then bounce. That makes things kind of boring, especially if you're swinging. You really want to catch. You want to catch a move, but if it takes a couple of days or maybe a week or not, but you want to catch that move. Right now, I'm not seeing much. Again, if you were in this position right here, that you went from, I don't know, if you enter on Monday somewhere, let's say at 60 and you're selling at 65 or 64, well, that's pretty decent, but just be quick. If you see weakness, get out. Really, get out. That's what I'm thinking, especially on a stock that has been in range, just get out. But I strongly, suggest to get into moves that are more evident. Like, let's go check Tesla. This was pretty evident. The move down, in my opinion, I took some puts right here on actually TSLL, and they kind of worked out. I mean, I got killed in these 2 days, so my puts decayed quite a bit, but then when I closed, I was green anyways. But sometimes you see that thing that is going to be evident. Not talking about Tesla today, but I think that is all that I have for today. All right, friends, it's almost an hour. That's insane. Okay, okay, traders, I'll see you maybe tomorrow or Monday. Bye bye.